All right, guys. So this segment that I'm going to show you guys of a conversation between Tucker Carlson, who's a Fox News host on the right. He says he aligns with the populace, right? And you have Jimmy Dore, who's a progressive that a lot of people will say is probably more progressive than the actual progressives. Okay, because they're currently in a fight regarding Medicare for all and how they go about trying to get the Democrats to push for that policy and at least get a floor vote on it in the House. So when these two polar opposite sides come together to have a conversation, I think is fascinating. And the reason why is because these are the type of conversations that I feel that as Americans, we need to be having. Okay, because with the populist right and the progressive left, there are some things that do bring us together on certain issues, right? The right currently right now feels that we are being censored overtly from the big tech overlords like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, big tech, right? We're being censored. Now, big tech is really just an extension of the establishment, okay? On the left feels like they're censored in the sense that their progressive ideas don't actually ever get attention, right, on mainstream news networks like CNN, like MSNBC. They don't feel like their narrative is being pushed enough, and they have been censored by the media, the mainstream media, to a certain extent, specifically on their policies, not so much on their social narratives, because being woke is a money train, right? And again, the media is corporate. But also, besides being corporate, the media is establishment, okay? It's just an extension of the establishment. So my point is that what both sides can and should come together on at some point, the establishment is against both of us. The right has seen what the establishment would do to Trump. The left has seen what the establishment would do to their candidates like Bernie, right? So a conversation like this, in which they're talking about this free speech topic, was truly fascinating to me. And also a reason why I really respect the hell out of Tucker Carlson. He's my favorite for a reason. I think the way he can spin the anti-establishment narrative while being on the establishment network, I think is truly a work of art that I really admire. But before we get into that, my name is Greg Foreman and you're watching A Black Conservative Perspective. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share. A Black Conservative Perspective, aka a leftist worst nightmare. You can also follow me on Twitter at GForemanBCP. Let's get it. All right, guys, so let's take a listen at this segment that Tucker Carlson did regarding tech censorship and free speech, in which he brings on Jimmy Dore to have a conversation. And I think that is truly a good thing to see.
Well, last night we played you tape from the CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, admitting that his campaign of censorship against Donald Trump really applies to you. And it's just the beginning. He made that clear in this video from Project Veritas.
We are focused on one account right now, but this is going to be much bigger than just one account, and it's going to go on for much longer than just this day, this week. I don't believe this is going away anytime soon, and the moves that we're making today around QAnon, for instance, is one such example of a much broader approach that we should be looking at and going deeper on.
This is going to be much bigger than just one account. Now, that may be of concern to Jimmy Dore, host of the Jimmy Dore Show. His views are on the opposite end from Donald Trump, but his views are still hated by a lot of the people in charge. So, Jimmy Dore, how does this make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel really uncomfortable that this new censorship push is coming from the left. Just like I warned the left when they were pushing evidence-free conspiracy theories called Russiagate and McCarthy smearing all their political enemies, that, of course, whenever you do McCarthy smearing or Russiagating or things like that, you're propping up the surveillance state, you're propping up the establishment, and they're going to come back to bite you. And that's exactly what happened with Bernie Sanders. He got caught up with doing Russiagate, and, of course, they smashed his campaign by Russiagating him.
Yeah. Jimmy Dore is 100% correct on this, right? And this is why I respect Jimmy Dore, right? I may not agree with a lot of his policy positions, but I respect him because what he's saying here is so true in regards to the left. They spend so much time complaining about censorship, complaining about how their voices aren't being heard, their policies are being ignored, but they support the establishment censorship of conservatives that they don't agree with. So you're complaining about something that you also support at the same time because it doesn't apply to you. So you're okay with a voice that you don't agree with, censoring another voice that you don't agree with because you don't agree with that voice, right? And to me, I just think that's really hypocritical of the left. And the left should be the last people that are pushing for censorship, right? If the left wanted to be consistent in principle on this matter, they should be attacking Twitter and Facebook for censoring the right. They should say, oh, no. We don't like what they say. We don't agree with what they say. However, they have the right to say it because we want to be able to express our views. And who knows when big tech is going to turn on the left, because ultimately, at the end of the day, big tech is an extension of the establishment. And the left tends to forget that because they feel like the big tech is on their side and they're doing something they want to see big tech do. They forget that big tech has the power to turn on them. They're an extension of the establishment. Okay? And that's something that the right, at least I think, is a lot more principled than the left on, is the fact that we may not like the left, but we will fight for your right to express your views from the left. Okay? That's something that I think the right really has been very consistent on, is free speech, because we know how out there speech can get on both sides of the aisle, right? But at the end of the day, regardless of whether you agree with it or not, sometimes there is some truth to the out there speech on both sides of the aisle.
Saying that Russia was supporting him. Exactly. So this scares me because it seems like on the left, can I just tell you, the Capitol riot did not happen because we didn't have enough censorship. That is a ridiculous idea. Okay. Silicon Valley has turned into an extension of the Democratic Party. Glenn Greenwald just experienced that. Right. I mean, what is going on right now is crazy. So just freedom of speech is the first in the Bill of Rights because it's important, because popular speech doesn't need protecting. It's unpopular speech that needs protecting. That's why it's first. The war on terror was already used to take away our free speech rights, to take away our right of protection from invasive searches from the government. We live in a surveillance state, and now they're going to use this even more. Joe Biden has already said he's going to use this. They're using it as a domestic terrorism threat.
Yep. And that's also Jimmy Dore, why I respect the hell out of him, calling out the hypocrisy on his own side, in the sense that the left says, no, we're against the Patriot Act. Oh, no, we're against the establishment. However, when it's convenient, you prop up the establishment. You prop up the surveillance state. Okay, do you understand that social media, big tech, is a part of the surveillance state? It's just another arm of this surveillance state. We know, again, this is not a conspiracy. We know, partly from what Edward Snowden did and Julian Assange did, that the government has access to our personal devices. If they really want to get access to it, they can. That the government does spy on its citizens, which is a violation of my Fourth Amendment rights. Because the government spying on my phone is an unreasonable search and seizure. Okay? Right? Like, I think every reasonable person could agree with that. They don't have probable cause and they don't have a warrant. If they're not going through the proper channels that they're supposed to go through to actually search me, they should not be able to do it. Okay? It's a violation of the Constitution. And that's something that the left, I feel like, tends to forget. When things are convenient for them, they love the establishment. They love the establishment when it's convenient for them. But at the same time, they claim to be, we're against the establishment. Establishment using the same tactics on you. When the DNC, again, not a conspiracy, we know because they admitted it. Elizabeth Warren admitted it. I think Donald Brazil admitted it. Yeah, the DNC rigged the primaries against Bernie. They did it through the media. The media is establishment. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying here, guys? Again, the left, to me, is just asking and begging for their own demise when they support the censorship of somebody like Trump.
And let me just tell you something. They never sent. We know who gets censored. People who are pro-war never get censored. People who tell the truth about war get censored. That's why I'm being censored. That's why my channel gets throttled. That's why my so this is. I just lost 4,000 Twitter followers for no reason. So I don't understand how the left has to keep relearning this over and over and over. And the first person to be deplatformed was WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. And this would be a great way for Donald Trump to stick the thumb back in the eye of these people, is to pardon Julian Assange. If he knows what's good for freedom of speech and freedom of the press, he should take this moment and pardon Julian Assange.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson is going to totally agree. I totally agree. I 100% agree. And I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but Julian Assange was denied extradition to the United States by a judge in the UK, not because she felt that what he was doing was freedom of speech and freedom of press. Not because of that, because she felt bad for his mental condition. She felt like if he was extradited to the United States under our harsh prison system, he would more than likely commit suicide. So that's why she denied extradition of Julian Assange back to the U.S. because she felt like he wouldn't make it. How sad is that? She agreed with the U.S. government that this dude went beyond just journalism when he exposed information, when he exposed the cables and the war crimes that occurred during the Iraq and Afghanistan war. When he did that type of stuff, the UK judge agreed. She said, yeah, this would probably break our laws too. But you're in such a bad mental state, we ain't even gonna send you over there. So if you feel like what Julian Assange did was a form of free speech, is protected under the First Amendment, which some people say what he did was a crime. He revealed secrets that shouldn't have been revealed. I understand that argument. However, if you're truly anti-establishment, right? If you're anti-establishment, like a lot of people say they are, there is an argument to be made that what he did was necessary. It was necessary to protect the constitutional rights of U.S. citizens, okay? To understand this stuff. Now, Trump, right now, he's in a position where I 100% agree with Jimmy Dore and Tucker Carlson. He should just pardon him. That's the best way to get back at the establishment, right? Trump has lost the establishment. I mean, let's be honest here. Trump doesn't have the establishment on his side. Trump is in a position now where they're potentially thinking about impeaching him so he never runs again. And I don't think he has anything to lose. I really don't think he has anything to lose. I think him pardoning Assange or Edward Snowden or both, I think really is Trump's way of really just sticking it to the establishment, giving them a big F you. And I dare you to impeach me so I can't run again. That's how Trump can become a legend out of this. Because that's something that the left and the right will both agree on. And they will say, you know what? Trump did the right thing there. Maybe there is something to Trump being anti-establishment. Maybe he is the guy that has the cojones to take them on, create some real change. Right? And I think that would be good for him politically in the future. Trump might as well go full-blown anti-establishment. That's what he should do over the next 3 or 4 years, in my opinion. Now, let's finish the rest of this segment here.
I didn't used to think that, and I totally agree with it, partly because you convinced me through the force of your argument. I think that's absolutely right. So I hope you will come back. Yeah, please.
Can I just say, Tucker, this all started with the failure of neoliberalism. Why did Donald Trump get elected? So they couldn't ever come to terms with why he got elected. So it was corporate lefty journalists who pressured social media outlets to start censoring people who weren't adhering to this official narrative. And that's what's going on here. And that's what's scary. Neoliberalism is a failed ideology. And that's why they're now using censorship to control the narrative, because they can't back it up.
It's tough. And I hope you made a really evocative point, which we don't have time to explore. I hope you'll come back and explain sometime why people who are against pointless wars get censored, not those who are for them. No one will ever censor Bill Kristol. And anyway, I hope you'll come back on that topic. Jimmy Dore, great to see you. Thank you.
It's the same reason that they refused to put a provision in the NDAA that would give the president more discrepancy in terms of pulling troops out of the Middle East, right? Because being in endless wars is the establishment narrative, and Trump tried to challenge that, and obviously they wasn't having any of it. Okay, so that conversation was fascinating, and like I said before at the beginning, guys, I respect the hell out of Tucker Carlson, and he's my favorite political analyst on TV because I think he's just one of those few people that really get it, right? He really gets the type of conversation that needs to be had on the right and what we need to talk about and how we kind of need to move forward in a Trump and maybe even a post-Trump era, right? Depending on what actually happens to him politically. But these are the type of conversations, guys, that definitely need to happen more between the left and the right, for sure. You know, what's funny about this, guys, is that the leftists are going to hate Jimmy Dore for doing this. They're going to hate him. Oh my God, how did you go on the show of a racist, bigot, homophobe who appeals to white supremacists? That's what they're going to say. That's what they're going to say. And this is why the left, or the progressive left, can't win. Because they're only concerned about their little bubble, what they think, and how they believe that no matter what, their worldview is correct and everybody else's worldview doesn't matter. And if you believe differently than them, it's not because you or me have made our own empirical observations about the world that have led us to develop our own worldview. No, it's not about that. It's about the fact that they believe that we are racist, sexist, bigot, homophobes. And that's why we don't agree with their worldview. That's what they think. And guys, I hate using rhetoric like this, okay? However, this is actually true. And this is a problem that the left should confront. This is a problem that they need to look themselves in the mirror and say, we have a problem with the way we smear people on the right. Because it's only making people on the right feel more pushed away from mainstream society. This is something that you do not want, you should not want, whether you're on the right or the left. I never want to see the left be pushed away and not have their point of view. I want both people to have their points of view presented equally, okay? And there's always going to be competition for what's the majority. However, censorship is not the answer. It is never the answer. The answer is to let the battle of ideas play out in an honest way. And this type of stuff is shunned on the left. This man is going to catch flack for going on Tucker Carlson's show. People on the right should want to go and talk to people on the left, right? To convince them of our ideas. People on the left should go talk to people on the right and try to convince them of our ideas. That's how you win. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.